Welcome, faithful viewers, to the Steppin' Gamer channel. Like the lone Steppenwolf of literature, this channel is for those who game alone, and I am the Steppin' Gamer. And today we're playing Musket Battles by Command Post Games. The scenario we're playing today is the Big Skedaddle, which is what they called the Battle of First Bull Run. It was called the Big Skedaddle because although they fought well enough during the day, at the end of the day, the entire Union Army was routing in panic. Now there's a couple things you'll notice with this scenario. First of all, this map is huge. It's over 3 feet long. It's 2 feet wide. And at the outset of hostilities, remember originally it had been one army, so they didn't have distinct uniforms. And the uniforms came in a variety of colors, shown by the variety of colors of the blocks and the fact that there are no obvious Confederate or Union blocks. Now all the labels clearly show what division they're part of. The headquarters represent a division. So all the Potomac blocks have the letter P on them. Jackson's Shenandoah Army has an S on them, and the Union divisions are all given their numbered status. This does make it somewhat confusing when you're playing, and that's appropriate because it was confusing in the battle. Are those guys enemy or not? You don't know. They look just like you. The other thing that's very unique about this battle is all the blocks are militia, which means they're very fragile. They easily run. You have to be very careful when you attack because there's a good chance everyone's retreating. Everyone's running away. The only infantry unit in the whole scenario that isn't militia is this one block of Jackson's brigade. The brigade that held at this battle and earned Jackson his nickname of Stonewall. Now Albert Sidney Johnston's Army of the Shenandoah is shown here, but they don't actually, they're arriving by railroad. The first instance in history when reinforcements showed up by rail during the battle. This command is frozen, including these two blocks, Army of Shenandoah blocks. They're frozen until some Union formation crosses the Bull Run. Now I'm using the free setup, not the historical setup. I wanted to give that a shot. I've always played with the historical setup. Now, historically, the reinforcements showed up at a couple different road entry points. But in free setup, all your reinforcements have to show up on one road. And again, the scenario setup instructions don't cloud you with extra rules. But I choose to say that you must nominate on a piece of paper what road you're coming in on. Because they could have decided to come in on this road or this road in the middle of the battle. Historically, they all showed up on this road. And then Runion's division showed up here at Centerville. Now the other thing to watch for is the Union line of supply, or what you'd like to call their line of communications, runs right up through here. Centerville's just off the map. If the South controls that at the end of the day, they win. Well, it's not that they win, but it's not that they win by scenario definition. It's that if you have an army cut off and you control their lines of communications, that's considered a winning condition for any scenario. Now this is the north edge, this is the south edge, as shown by the compass rose here. Any road off the south edge is good enough to say the south is in supply. So it's not a very realistic outcome for the Union side to simply capture all the southern lines of supply. That's not going to happen. If you do that, you've probably already beaten them anyway. Now the Bull Run is considered a river as opposed to a stream. You'll see numerous streams on this map, and their only effect is to act as cover for the first round of combat. A river cannot be crossed except at fords or bridges. The bulk of the Union Army arrives by road on turn 2, and I have nominated that they're going to enter here at Centerville. Alright, I'm going to draw the chits and move, and we'll see what combat is set up to look like at the end of turn 1. Now at the end of turn 1, all that has happened is that General Beauregard, the headquarters unit for the Army of the Potomac, and the Army of the Potomac is one of two commands. You have the Army of Potomac and the Army of the Shenandoah for the south. He's crossed the Bull Run. They couldn't cross the Bull Run and attack in one turn. So they stopped outside the line of fire. And now it's turn 2, and we add Hunter and Heintzelman's divisions to the mix. Alright, and here we are at the end of turn 2. Now, in seeing that their Confederates are crossing here, I would have rather brought these, or at least one of these commands, down this road. But the plan was to come down this road, and that's what they're doing. Now if we zoom in on the action here on the Confederate left, Beauregard's Army of the Potomac was not able to close decisively with Tyler's 1st Division. Tyler was able to fall back and deny any effective engagement. Thus far, the Union forces have not crossed the Bull Run. Johnston's Army of the Shenandoah are still frozen in place. Now the rules say that Johnston's Army of the Shenandoah is frozen in place until the northern flanking force crosses the Bull Run. But what if they never cross the Bull Run? Now you can be very gamey and say, they don't have to cross the Bull Run, so I'm just going to sit here and see what happens. But at that point you could just pull both sides back and not fight. The historical intention was to take this flanking force, cross the Bull Run, and to sweep the Confederates from the field. I'm going to play with the historical intention. You can always play against what was going on historically. And then people might say, oh, the game's broken, you don't have to do that. Well, whatever. Or you can simply say if the North never crosses the Bull Run, or if the North does not cross the Bull Run by turn 4, it's a Confederate victory. Whatever it takes. I'm just going to play historical. Again, I will draw chips and move. For turn 3, this is late morning. Alright, now here we are again. Tyler was able to prevent Beauregard from creating a significant action. But you'll notice this isn't going to keep working. Sooner or later, Tyler's going to have to fight. But you'll also notice that the Union flanking force has crossed the Bull Run. So I've added the Shenandoah's chit to the mix, and then be moving next turn. Alright, here we are at midday. Beauregard is finally closed for battle, and lead elements of Hunter's division attacked the Confederates here, and their flank was suddenly descended on by Stuart's cavalry. We'll start over here. We've got Longstreet and Bonham charging Richardson. Richardson has cover. A volley from Richardson and Longstreet's men are sent running for cover. See how Bonham does. Facing a seemingly unending tide of rebels coming through the woods, Bonham's men break. Here we have Ewell attacking Holmes. Both sides retreat in confusion as Jones presses forward and ends up holding the battlefield. And now maybe this will shine some light on the Union efforts. The rebel General Koch finds himself outmaneuvered by a superior number of Tyler's men. And although it ends up in confusion, Schenck's men are still in good condition. And now we're going to look at what's happening over here with the Army of the Shenandoah. The attackers find themselves outflanked. This does not look good for the Union forces. It's worse than that. He's dead, Jim. Burnside's brigade is destroyed. Fitz-John Porter's men retreat. Again, Jackson's men stand like a stone wall. And now it's turn 5. General Runyon's division of volunteers should be appearing this turn. I, for one, should be very interested to see what happens next. Alright, here we are, early afternoon. After initial contact, a slight reorganization, what do we have? Now in the big picture we see that Evans' brigade has advanced across the Potomac, and Early's brigade has turned and started facing the Union forces. Now he can't attack because he's out of range of command. Beauregard's over here commanding his troops. Now after his initial dash, he's kind of reorganizing what he has here. He has deployed bags. Hunter's 1st Division has not deployed bags, but they've placed their bags behind their line a ways back. They're not ready to hold for good quite yet. Now if we zoom in on the Army of Shenandoah, you note a couple things. Smith's later arriving brigade has shown up here. Hunter and Heintzelman were going to hold here, and they've got their artillery ready. But note that Stuart is over here, ready to charge. This does not look like a good location. Over here in the extreme Confederate right, Johnson has 2 brigades attacking Howard's brigade. That is the single combat. Let's see how it falls out. Howard is in cover. Even with the Confederate disadvantage, Howard's troops are destroyed. The lead elements on the Confederate side also they didn't so much fall back and retreat, but they're disorganized and stuff from their assault, and they're set back here. Fortunately, they were backed up by a perfectly fresh unit, and there it sits. And now it's almost dinner time. Now around dinner time, you can see Union forces are totally on the defensive, and the rebel forces can barely keep up with them. But now the defenses here are getting more sure. Now Johnson would like to head up this way and chase off the Union forces. But the sizable flanking force is sitting right there across the Bull Run, and they're holding. And now it's early evening. What will they do? Well, the Union has unpacked bags here, and this is going to be a very tough nut to crack. Beauregard unpacked his bags here, which helped them keep up the pressure this far away, but now they're too far away from their bags to guarantee any success. If they could get jumped, they could attack here, but then these Union blocks would just fall back. The four Union forces would fall back behind prepared defenses. Essentially, Beauregard's attack has stalled. Now over here, Johnston is critically short of artillery, and the Union has artillery up here on the hill. Right here, I'm going to call this battle an indecisive draw. Now, technically, with the loss of 2 blocks, the South has gained an edge over the North, and it's a Southern victory. So if you had money on the line, there you go. Maybe this day would have went to a second-day battle, a 2-day battle. My personal opinion is once these units are dug in and defending, once they realize that there's not going to be an easy victory on neither side wishes to attack. What probably would happen was that both sides would declare that they had bested the enemy and held their army together, to put a proper spin on the news reporting of the battle. But let me know in the comments what you think would have happened. And either way, that was a very good game.